We'll see how well that works. Alrighty, so as we're nearing the 24-hour candle close, tomorrow we have FOMC. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yes. Forex Factory. Just want to double check here. What the hell? Damn, you imagine looking at all that data? Too much data. Yeah. So tomorrow, 3 red folders, federal funds rates, FOMC statement, FOMC press conference, and what are we doing going into that? Right, we're starting to put together some structure. So on the 24-hour for the Qs, I think we're building a box. If you choose to speculate, I'm always going to give you guys targets as far as potential outside of that range. That's the same target as before. The 474, 77, 475 area would be the first target there to the downside. 476 on the lower time frame, but candle close would be my target there. To the upside, the obvious is 489.16, and it feels like it kind of really wants to try to make its way up to touch that 493.40 if we hold. And that's kind of the most important development, here. But the cool thing is we do have definitive floors, right? As far as today is concerned, and definitive targets to the upside. The long and short of that is, and I've been saying this a lot for the last month of, April and May, but there's not a lot of confirmation there, right? There's a story that we can start to tell to kind of get a grasp on where we're possibly going to be heading. And that's, going to be determined and finalized by the end of the day. But you get that wick up, you feel your gap, the candle closes back where sellers control the price, and price is still pushing up. Right. So closing further up, or if we can continue to make that recovery and hold that to 83, 84, that's where, and this shit, I mean, who knows, maybe it happens by the end of the day. But that's where that resistance, and I do let it, it's going to be a confluential target, but the confluence just is coming from a previous resistance at 487. So that would be kind of a lower time frame target, but overall, that top right there. Again, empty space, not the greatest, but you do have a small box here. You do have a pocket of empty space that'll make it relatively easy to move through. But just emphasizing yesterday with the gap fill, right, to the downside with the empty space through here, it made a lot more sense, right? That's the period, end of story. That's why I decided to take a little position. And we obviously saw that big breakdown end of day. And so I took my trade and it worked for the most part, right? I wanted a little more, didn't get it, reversed, got out. Whoever poor soul fucking bought that contract. But anyway, and I'm not sure if you guys played as the upside or had anything to the upside, but that was pretty good as well. But now the setup is a little bit more elusive. So I think by the end of the day, if we can at least reclaim that or be up against it, I would feel better about speculating for a move to the upside. But again, 24-hour range. When it leaves that range, we have a clear target, and that'll be up at the 494, 493 area. So, all right, taking a look at SPY. This one's, not too far away either, right? You're going to look at that red wick over here to your right at 571. Today, again, establishing a potential range, perfect top, pretty decent bottom, right? Go to the 4-hour and we can see how that's set up, right? A potential target to the downside is, of course, still 554.17. And our target to the upside, obviously 566.50. That would be your technical third time. So perhaps that's where we can feel confident in taking a break and looking for that 571. Nice gain to the upside to hit those wicks. Maybe a little bit more final target there would be the top at 575, similar to the Qs. So that's what I see on SPY. Again, not a crazy great setup at the moment, but we'll see what we get here overnight. IWM a little different, 24-hour candle, not a range candle. This candle actually is kind of unusual in my opinion. Not unusual, but I guess it does make perfect sense, right? You literally opened up in empty space. You hit what was below, you hit what was above, and now can't figure out where you want to go from there. So you're left with a doji, or whatever you want to call it. That one, again, you're seeing more of a rejection up on this floor here, and getting closer. If I was to take a position on IWM, anything short, it would have to be with the sellers here. And so, there's really a great deal of time for you to make a decision on what you want to do. But I don't really see a setup to the upside unless it decides to scream over 200 and go to 206. But that one just doesn't really have a great setup to me. In fact, it's, kind of showing weakness. If I'm still good. Yeah, we're good. All right. So if you guys have anything that you would like me to take a look at, be happy to do that now. Damn, yeah, down 2% right there. All right, let's see. I just saw your message, Jorge, from this morning.
Yeah, man, that's a lot. Blew me away.
All right, let's see what you guys got. In a NVO Novo Nordisk. So right off the bat, I can see that, right? That's building a range 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, excuse me. And then a little different, right? On the 24-hour, you had a box. You punched through the box. You made a new high. It looks like you might have hit an imbalance up there. But now, as of today, and earnings, I suppose, and have they already had it, I'm assuming, you're underneath 66.45. So there's got to be something down here on a lower time frame, and there it is. So where do we fall? Nope. So 64.21, right? Now you're about to hit, you already did you? I guess wick to wick, but you have a gap. So depending on how you respond to that, right? If you break down underneath it, I would be looking for 64.90 and 64.18. Further downside, that needs to break, and you have 63 right underneath you. So it had earnings, or it did? I'm confused. 24-hour OKTO weekly. I mean, man, that fucker does know how to rip, doesn't it? When it does go. On the weekly, you obviously have spent a great deal of time here. You look clear for takeoff. You got 138 directly above you as a long target. As of today, you've seemingly left that range, right? And so you got to look over here, and there's got to be something, and there is, right? So you got a good candle close right up against that floor, 4-hour time frame. Unusual. Goofy ass range. 121. And that's, yeah, you are box to box. As soon as you go to the 4-hour, it kind of breaks apart. So I'd be looking at 121. And then I think long, you just don't even pay attention to that. But for now, this is the floor that has to be reclaimed. And I think upon that reclaim, you just aim for the for the rest of that. It's a little bit rocky in there, is my point. You know, on the weekly, it's just, it is what it is. But that's the point. It's like on the weekly, it's going to take some time um, to get past that. And it's, that wick is off of 125. So ultimately, you could almost guarantee that above 125, you're going to go up all the way to 138. So interesting. Uber targeting like PLTR. Yeah, how'd that go? Did you do that, Chunky? Chunky? Feel bad calling you that every day. Oh, okay. I get why you would do that. Same concept, but that would be my only variable here. Looks like 90 psychological is this all-time highs. That's literally all I can give you since you're up against there. So here's the deal: you got to go to the 24-hour, and you did have a rejection, right? You're pushing back. So in order for that to happen, you have a box already here, 2 hour. Okay, so clearly 83 is the floor. No guessing on that one. So the goal here is, you know, again, if you gap up above this, this could shoot straight up. But you want to see weakness literally right now. Um, and then as you move into the 30-minute, that's where this looks like it's set up. So your approach is happening as we speak. 86.40. That's what needs to break. And that's up. But I mean, the reality is that underneath this, and more importantly, that right there at 84.50, I think you could just go ahead and guarantee, you know, I can't do that, but you could 83.10, that breaks. You got a gap to fill. So yeah, there's definitely some catalyst to the downside, but be patient. Does it have earnings tonight though? Is that the same thing? So 90 on the upside, and then, you know, same thing to the down. Damn. So we can already just say right now that, yeah, there is empty space. And then just kind of an overhead here, right? So it's easy to try to like make something into something that's not. This doesn't have like I mean, it's going to be a range, right? And you can go ahead and build that range out. But because it only has one off the floor, I don't like that. That's not my thing, right? It's like I'm still gonna measure it out. It still kind of has the same impact. Breaking a range is a range, but the goal here, I think, with the candle close that you have now, which isn't bad, right, is to just go up and break over 125.40. And that is your next target. And so 4 hour time frame, any candle close, you know, and honestly, this is the best one you've gotten. You came back, you retested, you did what you're supposed to do. So I mean, yeah, it doesn't look bad. It has earnings today. Is that right? Make sure to let me know if it has earnings. Oh, you did. So up or tomorrow morning. And earnings in the past has been pretty volatile, but not always huge movements. That's pretty. I mean, the follow through is more impressive. That was crazy. Yeah, I remember that earnings. I remember that setup. Uh, hmm. It's kind of hard not to argue. I mean, I feel like inevitably within like a couple weeks you could be back at 155. Um, but the first and most technical target above you is 131.60. So interesting though. I mean, you made all this effort to pull yourself back up. You're moving through the structure. So I mean, ultimately, yeah, I think you get here, but there's going to be a couple roadblocks along the way for sure. But yeah, if you pop over 125, 130 and 138, 131 and 138 are both two tangible targets. And again, it's earnings. So, and in a weird economic climate. All right. So AAL, and listen, I'm be honest with you, I wasn't expecting greatness out of this one. But you got your tap, right? And how this is my point is how you respond. And the response was not great. 4 hour time frame filled the gap. Now it's pulling back. It's got empty space underneath it. Now I'll tell you what, falling back underneath this is going to be just as difficult. So my hope here is that if AAL wants to keep going, it does this, right? So tomorrow pushes back up into that high and then falls, right? If that works, that'll get us up and out, right? And I think that'll also play into that, which gives us a target overhead around there, right? And then, I see, depending on how long, but I could see $13 being a target up there. It's not right now, it's not a go for me, but it could be setting up. So, but underneath the 1038 floor that I have marked out inside of that box or that area of consolidation would be the downside move. So, this is a if this then that type shit. So, over 44.50, bam, bam. But getting a little weak. Three decent candles there. So, not a terrible candle close, but um, yeah, such an interesting chart. That makes sense too. So yeah, I would be looking at 44.77 if you can gap up and push over that wall. Oof. I ate sushi, dude. That shit's hitting me like fried chicken. They drugged my sushi. Um, no, I I just got hit with a sleepy wave. I'm good. That neuro gum's kicking in right now. Peyton, will you crush up that neural gun for me? Put in a line. Let's see here. That would be a fucking god. If any of you guys are cocaine dealers, that'd be a perfect incognito way to talk about that shit in the public. God damn it. Yes. I don't do cocaine, so don't put that in the analysis. All right, 962 just looks obvious on the 24-hour. The weekly, I mean, fuck, if you're gonna come back, it seems. And I have a 1080 target. I mean, hey Peyton, you grab me a mint from upstairs in my nightstand. Okay, so anyway, um, that's an ugly ass stock. There's your wall. That's what you're hitting. Above that, I would venture to guess that $10 is just, yeah, and there's a fucking gap up there. So go, go after that gap. And I mean, you're up against the wall. So if you take it, I don't blame you. Market conditions are a little weird right now. Tiger is one of those stocks that, uh, when the market's good, it might not do shit. And when the market's bad, it might rip. So, um, it's got earnings a little bit far away. That might be the catalyst to go fill that gap if it doesn't have the juice to do it now. All right. Disney, I'm still holding to the upside. They have earnings tomorrow as well. How much are those? Let's look together, hand in hand, at a Disney resort. 96. Good googly moogly. Those contracts are fucking juicy. Damn. Okay, so my target of $96 is $1.50. Not low risk. You'd have to go much further than that, but yeah, I mean, if you have those contracts or you have contracts to the upside, 96.50 is the first target. I see 95 as a bump in the road. It's hard to ignore the stupid potential on this channel. I mean, and I don't even really know if that's going to be the channel. This is one of those things where I would almost take the innards. See that? Bam. And expand it like that, which I think just made the same chart that I put down anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, fuck, I mean, there's a lot of room to run, I guess, inside of the channel, but that's, yeah, 96 and 97 are the two targets I have above me. OKLO upside due to speculation of new executive orders from Trump. Trumpy Pumpy. Okay, so when did the earnings? Why did it take so long for you to get that? Put cyanide on this? Why is the edge of the mint wet? Because you washed your hands? All right, you guys are here, witnesses. Be a wild way to go. Fuck. So dizzy. I think you have a solid target of $30. Um, that's what I was just implying, man. Why did she take so long? Why are her hands dry and the pill has some wet shit on it? Might be slow moving cyanide. Maybe. She just giggled and said, "I'll see you when I." No, no, I told her no insurance. You just gotta live off. No, well, she she could just live off of KYLD dividends. She'd have to live humbly, but all right. Yeah, I see $30, and if that can break 32.40. And the reason that I don't really have more to offer you is because there's no boxes. Box, you came back down and retested one. You had a floor right here at 27.80. That's likely a retest level for you now. So it's just looking up. XYG. Did you? Oh, you did it. Look at that. Tip tap. Hit 48. Did somebody, who asked me about that yesterday? Is that you, Green Slips? I think John did. Wasn't me. Oscar up. Okay. So exactly where you hit today is where that's the floor. So what's the deal, right? I got to start doing pop quizzes. Have you guys break down some charts for me because this is the kind of stuff where I need people to be able to narrate, right? Like, what is this? This is a rejection of a floor that makes you go up, and also a rejection of a wall or a sand trap that makes you go down. So, what would be the conclusion? There's no signal, right? At least here. 2 hour, that's obviously resilience, holding, but it's not enough. Momentum slow. And not to mention, that's popped out, and that's pretty obvious too. So, all right. Affirm on Thursday. All right. So let's go over it. All right. Earnings happens after. Earnings, good, good, good. Not good, not great. This is back when we played, I think. Yeah, we used to play Buck and Affirm. That shit was amazing. So, I mean, it either happens the day of or the day after. So, being that it's not Friday or Thursday, I see 61 if you go up. If you go down, I see 45. If you break another one of those, you're cooked. Let's see. What are these contracts at? Good God almighty. I mean, it could be worse, but fuck, no. 45s. Jesus. I see it. Again, I like compounding. Um, if this thing didn't move on earnings, it would immediately make the watch list. I'd keep my eye on it.
Big thing about a 39 straight.
What do I do? What?
What do you think?
On Affirm?
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you from, I don't want to say no and then, it dumps, but you, I mean, my opinion is if you were to take that, you know, it would be, I mean, this is where you want to be, I guess, if you're going to take a short, is, you want to be up against the wall, but you also, that's where one tick and you're up. And so if you were to take that, you could dump. And if you only hit 45 and then immediately at the bell you bounce, you're going to be drained. So like as even okay, so like even if we were to go and break down under my target here, the next for sure target would be here, and that's 42, which you would feel the love, right? But you would, I mean, again, that's a tall order. Um, let's see, just a dump pretty aggressive.
Find somebody for sure that farther straight.
Yeah, and see that's exactly. And so like and there's going to be some times where you make that decision and then it does have some historical fucking dump. For me, the ones that I catch that are fire is because it has the same shit that we're looking for on a regular setup. It's clear. And if it's clear, I don't then I'll take those and miss the ones that are not. Because I'm going to, Microsoft moved really well. I didn't take it. Could have taken it, but just didn't take it because it wasn't that's not the kind of setup that I'm used to making money on. It didn't make sense to me, and so, leave it to speculation, but for me it just it didn't fit the bill. Um yeah, got you. I'm not seeing anything I'm loving. That's okay. Love doesn't happen every day, does it? At least not to one person. Well, maybe it does, but you got to pay for it, and that's not love. All right. Let's see here. So, I mean, it makes sense that you'd bounce there, 4 hour time frame, pretty much dead slap center to the top in here. So, how do you respond? It just doesn't seem like a really strong level anyway to bounce off of, but all right, so you're gonna have to take this step by step, and it looks like the 4 hours likely going to be your your 2 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. I think the 2 hour kind of makes it a little bit easier, but this is level, right? So you've got level one, right? You've got level two, and that's where I would dive in to the hourly, right? Now you've got your third obstacle, 113.20. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that bounce and hold right here and wick off of it, definitely wouldn't brush that off. That's definitely an area where you've rejected before. But in the right conditions, I think PLTR could break right back up above that. So, um, um, no, yeah, I mean, no, I don't think so, unless FOMC and Trump team together for, positive fucking news, period, but Roger. Um, yeah, tough call, man. Yeah, that's definitely something I would probably even be looking at like 2 weeks. Let's see. NVO earnings in the morning. Oh, I already did that one, right? Yeah. Yeah, that one, the 62.87 and then 74 if you're looking. Uh, Walmart still holding Friday calls. Oh man, that's tough. It says a lot, and I think what I said this morning is still true, right? And what you're seeing here is sellers just like not allowing price to settle in this last 2 hour candle. Um, even 4 hour candle, that's pretty apparent. So, if you lose 98.50, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you'll be making your way back down into the 97.80s. And then you need the opposite to happen, above you, where I would even just accept 99.32, but yeah, it might be it's lost a lot of its. I mean, you look right here too. I mean, that's just an example of how wide that range can get. That could bleed your contracts. One, two, fuck. Let's see. Those aren't that bad. 121, 33 cents. 4 hour candle close, you come down just like everything else, you retest the floor. So what's the worst case scenario? Right? The worst case scenario would be that you reject or even slightly gap up or just flat out gap down, gap fill, and then dump, and then they would be a 111, and then you would be looking at this structure here. And I could see 109 and 108.30 being the target down. So like that could be something to look for downside, but almost seems too obvious. Yeah, obviously no candle close outside. I would say 121s if in they're 32 bucks, but I don't think that's a bad setup at all. And then with the way that we're closing here, I think that's valuable information. One, I would not go further than 122, or you're gonna not feel the love. So, all right. Yeah. So if it's tough call on the hedge. I feel like in order to make it worth it, you'd have to look at like the 105 strike, which the type of rejections you're going to get at a wall are going to be hefty, especially after chopping, kind of similar to here. So yeah, I'll try and take it up to 119, 120 with you. I mean, you could risk fucking 300-400 bucks, have a decent position, if that's within your risk.
What'd you just say?
If that's within your risk. Why? What do you think I said? Oh no, you're all right. I was talking about the one. I wouldn't go further than the 122 strike on Nvidia. Right. So obviously we can't have one without the other, right? So good candle close. Technically, I think this is 123. Um, yeah, again, you know, plan for the worst case scenario, which in this case would be 76.95. Um, but I would be, yeah, looking up towards the 84 target. Yeah, 84 would be my first target. Runners up into 87. MU down. Okay, so you held on. You did pull back, retest that floor. You bounced. So there's, again, that today's low of day will be marking where that upside potential is likely to fail. Yeah, I mean, you got a decent bounce. I think that the next area to really start paying attention. See, there's your first green candle to your left. That's where you spike. So it would be over 46.11, and you'd be looking at 47.50 for just a more fluid break to the upside. So, ooh, damn. That one is, I guess you could go ahead and call it a box. So, yeah, 46.72 has to break. All right. Oscar Health, assuming. What the fuck? Wow. So A, you have huge block right there. And your price is trying to go up and has been trying to go up to reclaim that for quite some time. On the 24-hour, that goes away. And I'm gonna be 100% with you. You have so much structure, right, up above, and this just makes for less fluidity, right? So you're up against 1350, and that's where your next high is. That's obvious, right? But you have the next structure up above you here, and that's going to be right around 1438 and 1537. But it's literally step by step by step by step. Lord have mercy. Yeah, I mean, even just by the way this moves, it would be you'd have to. It's crazy to look at actually because you have, um, these long periods of whole months of consolidation, one pop, and then every single day is just a drag. So yeah, not my favorite, but that's what I see in front of you there. Caught the bottom. Nice. You look good. This has been a floor slash cost basis here. That's what you're fighting for. That's what you're looking for. That move up to 37.28. And again, we got to look in the most recent price action, which is here. So 34.40, if that does occur to the upside. Ugh. You have a little gap fill right at 36.28. And again, that's on the hourly. So you have to pay attention to how the 4 hour closes there. Zim. Damn. 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 So obviously cost basis came in like a wrecking ball. You fell back underneath 14.28. You have a gap fill down to 13.29. That's what you're heading for now. That gap fill is separated by that right there. So yeah, I'd be looking for like a 13.20 touchdown if you continue falling. But gap fill is literally happening or it's about to finish happening. So that would hopefully be in a by the middle of the day for the 6th, the 7th. Sorry. Um, nice, Tom. Um, I'm probably gonna. I grabbed some Nvidia. Hey, what more can I ask for? Besides closing outside. So I grabbed a decent small position. If it does hit, I'll try to add to it. But if it does hit, it pay off pretty big. So mRNA looks like it's going to head down to your floor at 23.30. Watch for a little bump in the road at 23.92. So But yeah, you look like you're mid punch down, so you're looking for a 2330 break, as a matter of fact. Amazon down. This is a mess. That's a mess. Looks like it could turn red, but you're directly up against resistance. Um, yeah, I took 121s. Yeah, you could hedge with the cues if you want. You know, if you wanted to grab something opposite. Let's see here. Uh, Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. $178.87 is where you go to the floor, or at least go to your channel bottom, like so. Directly above you, you have this old box, but you have this right there, and that would give you basically a 198 target. So, I mean, when you break that range, if you break this range, which it obviously looks like it's kind of leaning to the downside here, you know, to go and hit that 180 mark. So, yeah, I'd be watching that one at the floor where you're at now, anyway. 183.60 hourly. Yeah, 184.15 on the hourly there. It's a weird setup. But yeah, 178.50 here breaks. I think that you start seeing pretty gnarly moves down. 173.50 is trail stop or trailing target on that as well. So um I mean, if you do break, I think 28.50 is a solid target. You're there now, basically. So how you respond to this, you do have earnings coming up um soon, so that has a definitely plays a part. The weekly's a mess too. 260 or 2610 would be that final target there. All right. I am gassed. See what tonight brings us. We have FOMC tomorrow, so if you didn't swing, be patient. I'm sure we're gonna have some added volatility. But decent day. I did take the swing down. That worked out pretty well. Uh, had to get out of some of the runners though, and then um, yeah, the upside position worked out okay as well. Theta ate it for a bit, but it did work out. But other than that, hopefully we see another. I don't know. It'd be nicer to see the price action move on the open, but we'll see what we get overnight. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same time, same place. This will be on YouTube as well, by the way.